Hey friends, welcome to this video. This is kind of the stuff that nobody really wants to talk about until they're in a crisis. This is something that a good majority of advertisers have dealt with or will be dealing with. In 18 years of running Facebook ads, I have seen accounts get disabled at every single level. $50 a day accounts, $50,000 a day accounts. It doesn't matter how clean your account is or how long you've been running. But if you've spent enough money on meta ads, it's a pretty good high possibility that your ads and your ad account will get restricted at some point. Your ads will get approved, or your ad account will get disabled, or sometimes your profile, your personal profile, will get suspended. Unfortunately, I've had to deal with these all hands on for my own accounts. A couple of years ago, my personal profile got hacked. I was never able to retrieve it. Lost access to all of my ad accounts. So, this kind of goes hand in hand. Everything I teach is from, unfortunately, learning the hard way. So, the probability of your ad account getting suspended is high. The more that you advertise, I don't want to scare you. I'm just trying to be realistic with you. My whole point in everything that I try to teach you is to be as transparent as possible. And ad account suspensions, it's a real thing people have to deal with all the time, especially if you are dealing with higher risk niches, supplements, right? That's how I got started. Just vitamins and supplements. I mean, I was always dealing with this kind of stuff. If you sell high ticket and it involves money or making more money, the probability of your account ever getting in trouble is higher. So it's good to know. The algorithm makes mistakes constantly. Meta's own transparency reports show that millions of advertising assets are flagged like every single month. And a significant portion of those are just false positives. It's usually some AI bot that flags something on your account. It's usually not a human that flags something. So the problem a lot of the time is not the ban itself. The problem is that most advertisers just handle it wrong when their ad account or ad gets rejected. They'll submit an appeal. Usually that appeal just gets reviewed by one of their bots and then they give up. So that's how a temporary false positive becomes a permanent ban. So this lesson is going to change that. You're going to know exactly what to do at every level of restriction, from a single disapproved ad all the way up to a full blown profile suspension. I'm going to give you all the templates that we've used to help, the exact escalation path, and the exact protocol that will at least increase your chances of getting your restrictions removed. Now, for the record, there's never a guarantee that if something on your ad account gets rejected or your ad account gets shut down, I'm not saying there's a guarantee. Everything I'm telling you are things that I have personally done to reverse their decision. But again, I want to stress there is no guarantee. You're in, you know, it's up to Meta ultimately. So let's kind of go through this. Number one, let's start with the most common issue, and it's a good possibility you will deal with this. Just a plain disapproved ad. I also want to stress, when your ad gets disapproved, it can have anything to do with your ad itself, the image or video, what you say in the video. I mean, Meta knows exactly what the video says. It can have anything to do with your copy inside the ad. It can have something to do with your headline. On top of that, it also monitors the landing page that you're sending people. So you need everything to be compliant, from the ad all the way to your landing page. Don't have links at the bottom that might link to a page that talks about things that are restricted. I mean, it's got to be clean all the way through. Um, so here's the biggest mistake that a lot of advertisers make is they see a disapproved ad, they go and delete it, and then try to launch a new one. Never, ever, ever do this. Meta keeps kind of a hidden quality score on your account. Every disapproved ad is a strike against that score. So if you accumulate enough strikes, your whole ad account will get shut down. If an ad gets rejected and you don't appeal it, you're more or less accepting that strike against you. It can also contribute to higher CPMs and just higher advertising costs over time. Don't rely on the account quality tab to show you everything. It misses things. Instead, go into your ads manager, and go and select the disapproved ad. If the ad is disapproved and you know for a fact that it does not violate policy, I'm talking your ad to your landing page, everything, definitely appeal it. That was just probably an AI error. I can realistically say 90% of ad rejections, it's an AI bot of Meta's that scanned something and flagged it incorrectly. So reread it, make sure your ad has no claims. Even if those claims are true, it's a claim. Don't say this is what will happen if you buy my product or service. That is a claim. Um, so, but what if the ad actually does violate policy? What if you accidentally used a prohibited word or made a claim that you shouldn't have? And sometimes it's 4 words. Um, in that case, you don't want to just appeal it blindly. Study the ad before you appeal it. If you notice something in there or on your landing page, go and fix it, go and remove it. If you just edit your ad, you can just hit publish like you normally would a brand new ad, and then that automatically submits it for approval. But here's the absolute most part of this rule: you only submit it once. If you fix something, resubmit it, and it gets rejected again, stop. Don't keep hammering the resubmit button. If you do it repeatedly, and you keep submitting an ad with no changes that's already been flagged, they'll assume that you're trying to trick the system, I guess, and they'll shut down your whole account. So fix it once. If it fails again, let it die and create a brand new ad from scratch. Okay, this is the part that I see a lot of people also kind of get wrong. When you click, if you have to go the route of request a review button on, let's say, a disapproved ad, it often just goes to the exact same AI bot that rejected that in the first place. You get stuck in this automated loop for forever. The protocol is to maximize human interaction, and you do this by using the Meta chat support. And you can't go in angry. This isn't like you've been paying a cell phone bill and all of a sudden your cell phone doesn't work. You are in their uh, mercy, I guess is the right word. So this is one thing. They don't owe you anything, is what I'm trying to say politely. So don't go in angry. What has worked literally over the last 18 years is you played dumb and you asked for help. Here is the exact script that I recommend. And I'll drop this below in case you can't see it. And you just copy and paste it. But this is the one that we have used for probably hundreds of accounts over the years. All it says, and again, you're kind of playing dumb intentionally here. Hi, I need some help. I have an ad that was disapproved for, insert the policy that you got disapproved for, but I've reviewed the policy and I believe this was flagged in error by the automated system. Can you please help me submit this for a manual review? So you are talking to a human at this point, and you're framing it as a false positive. You are acknowledging the policy and you're asking them to be a hero. A human rep can manually push it for a manual review that will bypass the automated bot. So again, you got to go in there, um, might not sound professional to say this, but you got to go in there and you have to play dumb. Um, I mean, period. Okay. So the truth about Meta Verified, as you know, I don't know, maybe a couple of years ago, Meta offered a blue check verification. I think, don't quote me on this. I think it's like $15 a month, but you more or less pay Meta to be verified, like on Facebook and Instagram. But in addition to getting just the blue check, you also get access to support. Um, um, I recommend this to people because just getting access to the support part is kind of cool. And also, too, I actually tested, I know I'm kind of going off topic a little bit. I actually tested accounts with and without just the blue check mark. And the ones with blue check mark, I think just says a little bit of authority to people seeing your ads. So I recommend getting it anyway. Um, but a lot of people do think that buying the Meta Verified subscription is like a magic bullet for account support. But I'm just going to be transparent based on probably dealing with this hundreds of times now. Meta Verified does give you access to a live chat support tier. So if you have a minor issue like a billing glitch or a basic ad disapproval, this can oftentimes get you a faster response. But if your account gets suspended for circumventing systems or a very severe policy violation, Meta verified support reps usually can't fix it, unfortunately. They are more of a tier one support. They will read from a script. They'll tell you they're escalating it to a specialized internal team, and then oftentimes you never hear back from them again. On this topic, really quick, when you spend when you've managed um, over $100 million in ad spend, you've kind of seen it all. I recommend too, if you are advertising, keep your personal profile somewhat clean too. Um, I have I have reason to believe that this is not confirmed, so this is kind of what I'm telling you from experience. But I have solid reason to believe what you post on your personal profile can affect your ads. So be a little careful when you're advertising on what you post. And I understand sometimes you want to post polarizing things, more people see it, but still be careful. Um, because if your personal profile account ever gets suspended, it's jeopardizing all of your ad accounts too. One last thing on this topic, and I'll keep going. Make sure to, in your ad account, you have several admins. So if your personal profile ever gets rejected, mine got hacked a couple years ago. I never got it back. But if you have other admins on an account, they still have access to it. So if you need to temporarily pause ads or create a new profile, and then they can add you as an admin back in. So always make sure you have backups to backups. Um, so I do want to stress, when you buy the Meta Verified program, it doesn't guarantee your account gets will come back faster. It does kind of guarantee that you can get access to kind of a level one support faster. So use it as a tool to kind of get a human on the line, but definitely make sure you understand the limitations. They can submit tickets for you, usually faster, but they don't make the final decisions. All right, let's go to the next one. Okay, now let's talk about the ultimate nightmare scenario: a complete suspension of not only your ad account, but your personal profile. This means you can't even log in to get support. This is what happened to me when my ad account didn't get suspended, it got hacked. Um, this is the plague right now. Accounts are literally being disabled left and right. And again, most of the time, it's just in error or gets hacked like mine. A complete suspension of not only your ad account, but your personal profile. It's horrible. This means you can't even log in. Um, if this happens, this is exactly what you should do. First, you can't do this yourself because you can't log in. So you do need a friend or a family member or a colleague to go to, and I have it here. And I'll put this below too, so you can copy and paste it. But you want to go to facebook.com business support home from your friend or family member's account. They're going to open a chat and they're going to send this exact template that's right here. Hi, my name is whatever their name is. I'm reaching out on behalf of a colleague whose Facebook profile had been fully suspended. Because of the suspension, they have no way to contact support themselves. But then you want to tell them our business has invested X amount of dollars in meta advertising over the last X amount of time. My colleague manages his account and was suspended without any policy violation that we can identify. Their email address is whatever your email address is for your Facebook account. We need this resolved as priority. This is directly impacting our ability to run business. Please connect us with a human support specialist who can review this case directly. Now, what this template does is it establishes, it's worded this way intentionally, but what it does, and this template has worked several times, that's why I'm sharing this, but it establishes spend history immediately. That is a leverage. It frames the suspension as an error, not an admission of guilt. And it closes by asking for a human specialist, not just generic support. So the way that this is worded is very, very intentional. This framing matters. But the template alone is not enough. The reps assume everyone is a bot or a scammer. You have to prove you're human. So right below this screen, there will be an option that says add an image or attach an image. What you want to do is take a selfie holding up a piece of paper with your email address written on it. I know this sounds a little weird, but this works. You are proving face to profile that you are a real person attached to that account and that you're not some automated script. All right. So do this. Again, I'll put this below the video so you can copy and paste these templates. Okay. If you have tried the standard appeals, if you've tried chat support and you're getting nowhere, sometimes after weeks of trying, you ultimately have two final choices. And I know this isn't probably the thing you wanted to hear in this training video, but it's just the reality. I've had to do this several times over the last 18 years, unfortunately. But it's not really that big of a deal as far as how long it all takes. So you really have two options. If you've tried everything else and you kind of get to this last one, first, the reputation management route. And I want to, before I mention anything, I do want to say this is kind of gray hat area. So I'm just giving you that warning right now. And I'm not even going to promote anything for that reason. But I do want to say there are firms and high level agencies that you can go and find out there that have direct internal meta representatives. I don't have any kind of source. Like I said, I want to stress it is kind of, that gray area. It's not something Facebook supports, but I do want to let you know this is kind of a last resort, but there are other ways by finding high-level agencies. They have direct access to internal Meta employees, not the standard support tier, but actual decision makers inside the company. You can pay these firms to submit a claim through their connection, really. I will say, too, it's typically expensive. Over the years, it's usually about $2,000 to $3,000. And yeah, but for a large account, that's been generating a significant amount of revenue, sometimes it's definitely the only path forward when the standard other channels have completely failed. Second option is the fresh route, start fresh route. This is what I've actually had to do several times. Actually, I've done all of these things we've talked about several times. This is the absolute last result. And you need to understand the rules before you consider it. And I'm talking starting everything over, which means a new business manager. But if you create a new business manager on the same computer with the same credit card or linked to the same personal profile that was banned, Meta will detect that right away. And it'll ban it for circumventing systems. So this is the most serious violation you can get, and that would be practically impossible to appeal. So if you ever decide, okay, I just need to start fresh, I need my ads back up, I'm done, you know, trying to appeal this and do that for the last 2 weeks. So if you start fresh, you need to start with a completely clean environment. Um, if you have to go the route of a new Facebook account, set it up with a new email address, set it up on a different device. You need a different payment method, different admin profile. You need everything to be fresh. Don't rush it. Um, the other thing too, obviously, um, you're going to want a new landing page. Um, and I know this sounds exhaustive, but you can do all this in a day. One day of work, you could do this in probably a few hours. The hardest part would maybe be getting a new credit card number, but meta ads make us money, so it's worth spending a day to get this done. And again, this is the last result. So here is the golden rule. If your account gets disabled, uh, you don't stop. It is not over after you send the first message. Your account will probably still be disabled after the first chat. I've never seen an account get reversed after it's been disabled after a single conversation. So, you might have to go through 2, 3 different conversations. It's totally normal. You just have to keep going. Open a new chat every day. Always be polite. Always play dumb. Don't get mad because that'll be done. The second that you show that you're angry, they won't even listen to you anymore. Don't threaten. They don't owe you anything. Don't get aggressive, because they will just close the case. Just be persistent, professional, relentless, and act dumb. Eventually, a human rep will look at your case. They will realize you're a real person, a real business, and that you're not a bot and not a scammer. This is how you get reinstated if you have a shot at it. I've seen accounts come back after 2 days. I have seen them come back after 2 months. Um, I've seen them never come back and have to go the final route. The ones that never come back are usually when the advertiser just gives up because they're frustrated. So two things to avoid that will kill your chances of getting reinstated: trying to be sneaky by using a VPN. Don't do this, because you will get flagged to circumvent the ban. That's the most serious thing you can get, um, and it'll be really hard to get you back up. Um, the other thing too is stay clean, stay persistent, follow the rules, study your ads too. If that's the reason, study your landing page. Make sure there's no claims, even hidden in the footer or linked to a page somewhere. Um, so again, if you're dealing with this, go into your ads manager, filter by errors. Don't delete any disapproved ads because that will stay on your permanent record. You can try to edit the ad and resubmit it once. Um, and I promise you don't want to be dealing with an account suspension during a live campaign. It seems like probably just coincidence that things get suspended when there's mass momentum behind an ad account. It's always at the worst time. Um, so build your account health now while everything's running. So you're not scrambling when something goes wrong. Um, yeah, so that's it. Kind of a not a super happy-go-lucky typical lesson, but it is a very transparent reality, unfortunately. But I'll see you in the next one.